Chapter 24, Graduation Day. The day I received the letter from the University of Santa Clara notifying me that I had been accepted, I was as excited as the day my parents returned from Mexico after we had been deported. I read the letter over and over to myself and to my family. My excitement, however, turned to concern when I saw the cost for the first year was $2,000. I did not tell my parents because I did not want them to worry too. I took the letter to Mr. Penny and thanked him for helping me get into college. "Don't thank me, you did it on your own," he said. "Yes, but..." "No buts," he said, interrupting me. "You worked hard. You don't owe me anything." I disagreed with him, but I did not insist. I knew Mr. Penny felt uncomfortable whenever I thanked him. I then mentioned the high cost. "No reason to be concerned, you'll get scholarships," he said confidently. $2,000, I said worriedly. Mr. Penny took a puff from his pipe and placed it on the ashtray. He stared out the window and said, "Unfortunately, you applied too late to the University of Santa Clara to qualify for financial aid, but hopefully the scholarships you receive from local organizations will cover your first year." "What if they don't?" I said, feeling anxious. "You can borrow the rest from the federal government," he said, handing me a National Defense student loan application. Their loans carry very low interest rates, and if you go into teaching, they'll forgive 10% of the loan for every year you teach, up to 50%. "I do want to be a teacher," I said, "but my parents won't like the idea of borrowing money. The loan will be yours, not theirs, and you won't have to be paying it until you have a teaching job." It sounded good, but I still felt uneasy. Papa said that borrowing money was like being enslaved. He told us about a haciendo, a large landowner, who used his company's store to keep his father and other peasants in a state of endless debt. However, I trusted Mr. Penny and agreed to apply for the loan. "How much should I apply for?" I asked. Mr. Penny picked up his pipe and tapped it lightly against the ashtray and rolled his eyes to the back of his head, looking for a right figure. "Why don't you apply for $1,000? He said, bringing up his pipe to a standstill and glancing up at me. I gulped and glanced at Mr. Penny, who was waiting for my response. I lowered my eyes and noticed a stain on the carpet. I would have to clean floors for 1,000 hours to earn $1,000, I thought. I looked at Mr. Penny and said, "It's a lot of money, but worth it." That's the spirit. I took the application home and began filling it out at the kitchen table. When I got to the line that asked for the place of birth, I suddenly felt the same suffocating fear I had felt for many years of being caught by La Migra. I heard Papa's voice in my head. "You can't tell a soul you were born in Mexico. You can't trust anyone, not even your best friends. If they knew, they'll turn you in." But I'm here legally, I thought. I have my green card. I left that line blank and continued filling out the application. When I finished, I checked it over for mistakes, folded it, placed it in an envelope, and went back to bed. I had a hard time falling asleep. I kept hearing Papa's voice and reliving the frightening immigration raids in Tent City and Corcoran. The next morning at work, I completed the application. Next to the place of birth, I wrote in Colton, California. After I turned in the scholarship and the NDSL loan application, I rushed home after work and anxiously checked my mail every day. As soon as I walked in the door, I would ask my mom, "Did I get any mail?" "No, mijo, not today," she would say. As days went by, she would meet me at the door, and before I had a chance to ask, she would imitate me, saying, "Did I get any mail?" She would smile when the answer was no, and then tried to cheer me up. "You need to be more patient. Patient, Panchito," she would say. "It'll come. I've been praying." Her words helped, but I could not stop worrying. I remember Mr. Penny saying, "With your school record, you won't have any problem getting scholarships." I calculated my grade point average, 3.77, and prayed and hoped that my counselor was right. On June 1st, 1962, I got the news. I arrived home from work that evening and found my mom waiting for me on the front steps, waving out a white envelope. I was so anxious to get the mail that I accidentally tripped over one of the stray dogs that followed me as I got out of the car. "You got mail, mijo," Mama said, smiling from ear to ear. I snatched the envelope from her and ripped it open. The letter was from Mr. Paul Rosendahl, Director of Guidance and Chairman of Scholarships at Santa Maria High School. "What's it say?" Mama asked excitedly. I quickly scanned the letter and started jumping up and down. "I got the Alegria Scholarship for $350, the Kiwani Club for $250, the Lions Club for $200, and the Madrinas Club for $200, I exclaimed. "Gracias a Dios," Mama said, folding her hands and looking up at the heavens. She gave me a big hug and lightly pushed me inside the house. Our excitement had woken up Papa. He came out of his room and slowly sat down at the kitchen table. ¿Qué escándalo es este? He asked. Trampito, Torito, Rora, and Ruben all came out running to see what was going on. Panchito got money for school, Mama shouted a bit out of breath. Tell them, mijo, tell them. I got $1,000 for school, I said excitedly. Pays to work hard, mijo, Papa said, lighting up a Camel cigarette. Let me see the money, Rora said, pulling on my left arm. They'll send it to me when I'm in college, I told her, chuckling. Yes, when he goes to college, Papa uttered wearily. His eyes watered. Okay, everyone back to bed. It's late, Mama said. Papa needs to rest, so be quiet. She followed behind my brothers and sisters, making sure they went back to bed. Papa winced as he got up from the chair and shuffled back to his room. He had a sad look on his face. The following day, I got another bit of good news in the mail. Frank Snyder, Director of Financial Aid at the University of Santa Clara, notified me that my National Defense student loan application for $1,000 had been approved. I now had enough money for the first year of college. The school year was coming to an end, and for the first time, I did not feel sad about it. I looked forward to graduation. The ceremony was on Thursday evening, June 17th at 8 o'clock at Wilson Gym. At 5 o'clock that day, Roberto, Trampito, and Torito and I worked as a team, began cleaning the gas station as soon as it closed. At 6:30, I rushed home to get ready and picked up my parents. My brothers stayed behind to finish. They were to leave after work, pick up Darlene, Rora, and Ruben, and go directly to the gym. I was excited and nervous. I was to lead the flag salute and give the welcome at the graduation ceremonies. I felt proud and hoped my parents could attend, but I was not sure they would. I remember that neither of them had gone to Roberto's high school graduation. That day, Papa complained about a terrible headache in his back and insisted Mama stay home to take care of him and the children. My brother felt hurt, but he understood. For graduation, Papa gave him an old ring that belonged to my grandfather. Roberto wore his ring proudly. I think his ring meant as much to him as my St. Christopher medal he meant to me. I did not want to give my parents a choice of saying no, so as soon as I entered the house, I said, "Are you ready? We have to be there by 7:30. Papa and Mama were sitting at the kitchen table talking. Before they had a chance to say anything, I quickly went to the shed, took a quick cold bath in the aluminum tub, and got dressed. When I came out, my mom was getting ready, but not Papa. "Get me a couple aspirins, mijo. My head is killing me," he said, covering his head with both hands. I brought him 3 aspirins and a glass of water. "Here you are," I said. "Your headache will be gone in no time. By the time we get there, you'll feel fine." "I don't think I can go, Panchita," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "I'm not feeling well. Besides, I don't speak English. I don't know anyone, and—" "You won't be the only one who doesn't speak or understand English," I said. Papa was noticeably upset that I had interrupted him. He gave me an angry look. I softened my voice and pleaded, "Please, Papa, it means a lot to me." Papa lowered his head and thought for a moment. "What would I wear?" he asked. "You could wear my white shirt and tie," I said happily, thinking he must be giving in. My mom must have heard us because she brought out the white shirt and tie I wore to the Rotary Club luncheon. Papa grinned and slowly got up from the table. "Here, viejo, let me help you," she said, unbuttoning Papa's shirt and helping him take it off. Mama helped him put on the white shirt. While Mama helped him put on the white shirt, I slipped into my graduation gown and put on my white silk California Scholarships Federation sash. "You look like a priest," Papa said, chuckling. "He'd make a good one," Mama said. The shirt was a bit too big for Papa. It made him look thinner, and the whiteness made the dark circles under his eyes stand out even more. I then helped him put on the tie. "Esto parece babero," Papa said. "It's a tie, not a bib," Mama said, laughing. "It makes me look important," he said. "You are important, viejo," Mama responded. Papa looked up at her and grinned. It was the first time I had ever seen him wear a shirt and tie. He looked strange to me, but handsome. I looked at the clock. It was getting late, and Papa had not changed his pants and shoes. "You go ahead, mijo," Papa said, noticing my nervousness. "Don't wait for us. Vieja and I will get a ride with Joe and Espy." "No, I'll wait for you. It'll only take a few more minutes." "You can't be late," he said firmly. "You should just leave now." I did not want to leave without them. I was afraid that Papa would change his mind after I left and end up not going. "I'll wait," I responded. "Go," I said. Papa shot back. I had annoyed him with my insistence. Mama caught my eye on signal for me not to argue. "Go ahead, mijo. Do as your father says," she said. "We'll meet you there." I picked up my cap and left, not knowing whether or not Papa would attend. I got to the gym a few minutes before the procession. I moved up to the front of the line to join my classmates who had also made the California Scholarship Federation every semester for 4 years. We marched up the middle of the aisle, banked on both sides by rows of seats reserved for our graduating class. I sat in the front row, facing a low platform that served as the stage. After the Reverend Glenn Johnson from the Gloria Dei Lutheran Church gave the invocation and benediction, I was introduced. I walked up to the podium, feeling nervous but confident. I quickly scanned the bleachers, hoping to see my family, and began. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. I could hardly hear my own voice as thousands of others joined and recited it with me. It sounded like a prayer in church. As I finished, I saw Papa and Mama entering through the door in the back of the gym. My father braced himself on my mother's shoulders. My heart raced with excitement. I smiled, took a deep breath, and proudly gave the welcome.